Yes, people, Arsenal have won at the Emirates. It is Arsenal 3, Liverpool 1, and what a performance from the Gunners. I've got to say that at half-time I was quite deflated. And I was quite deflated for a number of reasons, because I felt like Liverpool were allowed back into the game through no real way that they perhaps deserved it. As far as Arsenal were concerned, I thought we dominated from start to finish, particularly that first half. And there was a couple of opportunities I thought Saka could have done a lot better with, and some of our decision-making I thought we could have actually made it a lot more than the 1-0 that it was. And I think Klopp would have actually been quite happy to come in at 1-0 at half-time. So I actually have it at 1-1, and for them not even to have a shot is absolutely poor. And when we look at the actual goal that we conceded itself, a lot of people are blaming David Raya. A lot of people are looking at Gabriel, but actually I'm looking at Saliba for that. And I'm a big fan of William Saliba, but in the last 2 games I've seen 2 defensive errors from him. And he's got to iron them out, because for me, you can look at how great he is and how solid he is defensively. But when you look at both of those errors now, one against the 1 year where he's got absolutely bossed and bullied, and now today, let's be real, that was poor defending. If in doubt, get it out. You're told that Sunday League. He's waiting for Raya. He's waiting for Raya. Raya's not going to come. To be fair, he doesn't do great, David Raya, and neither does Gabriel. But when you look at what Saliba has done there defensively, it's actually quite poor. And they let back into the game. And I think everybody knew what was going to happen in the second half. It's going to be all Liverpool. It's going to be a completely different game. Klopp's going to get behind them. Klopp's going to get the fans up. Klopp's going to get their players up. And luckily, Arsenal didn't allow that. Now, actually, if you look at the Liverpool fans today, I've never seen them so silent in the Emirates. It was actually 39 minutes. I looked up and they were actually started cheering, and I thought, they are here today. Listen, Liverpool got to hold that. They were very arrogant. They were very cocky. They were very confident about beating Arsenal. Listen, I'm not going to sit there and say that they shouldn't have been, because of the way they're playing and the way that we have been playing. But you can never come here and be guaranteed 3 points. And I think some of the Liverpool fans thought they were going to get that today. But we showed up. We turned up. And I've got to mention a couple of players. Actually, I'm going to mention more than 2. For me, the team news today was exciting for one reason and one reason only. Jorginho was back in midfield, looking to try and control it at the number 6. And a lot of people give him a lot of stick. He's not my favourite player. I don't get excited by Jorginho. But what I will say is when he comes into the side, you can actually have some balance, and the number 8 position of Declan Rice going forward actually is what we need right now. What that does is it complements Jorginho, it complements Declan Rice, and more importantly today you saw the press and the working so hard, the tenacious press of Martin Ødegaard, which again it complemented. So those 3, that trio, have actually looked for me a lot more solid against Manchester City now and against Liverpool. And if we look at the 2 home games against probably the 2 best in the league, people would say, it's been really good. And that midfield trio now needs to stick together for me until Thomas Partey, whether he is going to come back or not, who knows. He now needs to stay out of stay into that midfield for me, Jorginho. And we need to ensure that when Kai Havertz is utilised, it is up top. I've got to mention him next, because I actually thought he put himself around a lot today. I thought he caused a nuisance of himself. I thought he tried to cause the havoc that Darwin Núñez I expected to cause when he did come on to Liverpool. He is a player at the moment, Kai Havertz, I look at as someone in the final third. He's not a midfielder. And I think it proved that today. You take him out of that midfield, we get a lot more control, we get a lot more balance. And he actually used some of his attributes really well today. He should have scored 100%. He goes through one-on-one. You've got to do better with that. But for me, Saka's there to put it in. It's 1-0. And then when it goes down to 1-1, we actually come out and we perform. And I've got to big up Martinelli for that performance in the second half. The guy was absolutely tenacious. And maybe he come off a little bit too early. I actually looked towards Saka and thought maybe Saka comes off. Maybe he even brings Ødegaard off. Or maybe he looks to drop one of the midfielders. But for me, it was absolutely perfect from Arsenal's performance today. And Trossard come on, and listen, he scored. So, of course, it's the right decision. Alisson, hold that. You need to take both of those mistakes and look at them carefully, my friend. Listen, he's a world-class goalkeeper, and for me, he's the best goalkeeper in the league and in the world, right? But I look at the both mistakes from him, and I'm just not understanding what he's doing. Him and Van Dijk have got it totally wrong for Martinelli's goal, and then he gets nuts by Trossard. So you've got to sit there today and say that Arsenal deserved that today. There was no way that we should have gone at 1-1 in the half-time, let alone allow Liverpool to score in this game. I don't think Liverpool provided much. David Raya picked it up a couple of times. There wasn't really anything from Liverpool today that I saw that made me think, wow, Liverpool are really up for this. I thought Arsenal were the ones that wanted it more. I don't think that they looked in midfield right. I don't know that Gravenberch was the right guy to start. It didn't really look like him and Curtis Jones could get it together with Alexis McAllister in the middle there, and I felt like we dominated. I don't think Cody Gakpo is that great as a striker. I just don't. I feel personally today it would have been better to see the likes of Núñez start on the left. Up top, I probably would have gone with Jota, and then Diaz maybe on the right-hand side. But for me, Arsenal deserved the win. And this has put us right back into the title. What does it mean? Well, it doesn't mean Arsenal are going to win the league now, right? But what it does mean is that Arsenal have still got a chance and they're still in and around it. And Manchester City must be laughing. Because Manchester City are laughing for a couple of reasons. They're laughing for the reason of these two teams look nervous and these two teams look like they're making mistakes at the back when normally they wouldn't think that they would. And last of all, they've got to go and beat Brentford and they're going to be smiling because they know that they've got a couple of games in hand where they can now go top of the league if they win them both. And we're looking up at them. And listen, they're the team to beat for me still. With Kevin De Bruyne, with Haaland up top, I think both of them are going to be scoring for fun in the coming weeks, so watch this space. But as far as Arsenal are concerned, go and do something now which will show a little bit of momentum. This time last season we were dropping points against Liverpool at Anfield and then we had West Ham and we did the same thing. Now let's look with the roles are reversed. We've got Liverpool and now West Ham. We've beaten Liverpool, let's go beat West Ham and show some momentum going into that Burnley game because I wanted to get 4 games, 4 wins. So if we can beat Liverpool, we can beat West Ham, we've beaten Palace now, and then obviously we go into the Burnley game. We've got West Ham and Burnley to try and get 2 victories against, and we put ourselves right back in it. Arsenal have got to do all they can to win this title. They've got to do all they can to win all their remaining games, and they've got to try and progress into the Champions League because for me, we've got to win a trophy this season. It doesn't mean it's complete and utter failure and everything needs to start again, but what it does mean is that it's going to be looked at as that. It's going to be looked at as complete and utter failure if we do not lift the trophy at the end of the season. So that's what we're looking for. 1 game at a time. Arsenal looked like put himself back with at least a bit of a chance. We had to beat Liverpool today, and that's exactly what we did. Like, subscribe, and we'll see you next time. Big up, people.